reveal video for the new Kobolds and Catacombs cards where I quickly give my analysis on the new cards and how they function, if they're cool or not, any synergies that happen. And I'm not gonna give them a star rating right now, at least not most of the cards, because there's gonna be a end of the expansion when the whole set is released or the whole set is spoiled. I'm gonna do an Amaz compendium and rate all the cards from 0 stars to 5 stars, and then that will be like the best video to figure out which cards you are happy to open up or which cards in your craft and stuff, But anyways, let's go ahead and start. We're starting with a Kobold Hermit. It is a 2-mana 1/1 Shaman common minion. Battle Cry, choose a basic totem and then summon it. This card is actually really ridiculous. I think this card is actually insane because it basically reads 2-mana 1/1, summon a 0/2, right? But the 0/2 can be whatever you want in the specific turn, and most likely you're gonna choose spell power. Dude, this card is actually really good. Imagine it's a 2-mana 1/1, make a 0/2 spell power totem. That's really OP. I don't think there's a single card right now in standard that is a 2-mana spell power. Oh, fine, there is Tainted Zealot, I guess, right? But Tainted Zealot is kind of meh. But this one summons a totem, so you get 2 copies of two minions. So your stuff like Flame Tongue gets better, your Evolve gets better, and then your spells get better because you can do spell power, and you have the flexibility of making a taunt totem if you really need to taunt against those pesky face hunters or face warriors or whatever. So I think this card is actually really good. I really like this. So yeah, we're gonna see more totem synergies for the next few cards. So yeah, I think this is just good. Next we have Primal Talismans. It's a 3-mana spell for shamans. Give your minions Diaphragm summon a random basic totem. So when your minions die, you get a totem. So this one is kind of like Spirit Echo, but instead of drawing the minion back to your hand, you instead get to play a totem immediately. Do note that it's random, so you can get multiples of the same thing. So all your minions can die and come back as taunt totems, and then you get like a 0/2 spreading plague, I guess. I think this was a little bit weaker because at the end of the day, you're not establishing your board, right? You establish your board only when they kill your minions. And even when they do, you're getting 0/2s. So this one, as a delayed effect, making 0/2s, I don't really like. So I don't think this is going to be good. I think this is going to be a very safe dust card. Next one we have is Windshear Stormcaller. Epic Shaman card. Oh yeah, this one's a bit spicy though. 5-mana 5/5, so that's pretty good stats. Has a battle cry. If you control all 4 basic totems, so each one of each type, you summon Alakir, an 8-drop for free. Okay, 1 second here, 1 second. Okay, so this is actually even better than Alakir if you have all 4 totems, because it doesn't transform into Alakir. You still get a 5-mana 5/5. Okay, that is pretty ridiculous considering how there's gonna be a new Kobold Hermit card that that you can actually choose a basic totem, and also your hero power already makes it so that you don't summon a totem that's like already on the battlefield, right? So say you have 2 totems already on the battlefield, okay? And then you have a Kobold Hermit and you have a Windshear Stormcaller. What you can do is you can just play your hero power and then choose a basic totem, so you summon the 2 remaining, and then play this, and then you get Alakir and a 5/5. Like, that's pretty good. So man, this card is just bonkers. I think this is an auto pick in Arena because 5-mana 5/5 is already good in Arena, and you can randomly just win the game sometimes, right? I remember a Hearthstone meta where shamans were playing against control warriors, right? And there was a time where when you're a shaman versus control warrior, you just want to make totems every single turn because they can't just clear your board, right? And then when you play Flame Tongue, it's a big swing. And then when you play something like a Bloodlust, it's really good, just example like that. This is another card that is really good if there's a lot of control decks, because they kind of have to interact with your totems, right? And if they don't, then you just slam jam a YOLO Alakir the Windlord. And it's a very good stats. It's not a 5-mana 4/5 or anything, right? 5-mana 4/5 will make it a bit worse. So I will have to keep an eye out for this. Control metas would really like this card. But as we all know, every time you think it's a control meta, the rule is that it's not. It's an aggro meta. So we'll see. All right, onwards to a common warlock minion. Kobold Librarian is a 1-mana 2/1, which lets you draw a card on its battle cry and deal 2 damage to a hero. Okay, this card is actually ridiculous. How crazy is this card? 1-mana 2/1, draw a card. That's actually stupid. That's actually like stupid, you know? Wow, this card is so good. Like, imagine you're playing like, oh my god, imagine you're playing Zoo. You get a free 1-mana 2/1 late game. Dude, this is like Silverware Golem. But instead of discarding, you just play it out. And who cares if you lose 2 life, dude? 1-mana 2/1. 1-mana 2/1 is not bad already, you know? Like, that's a very, very good stats. I think Kobold Librarian is going to be found in a lot of decks. This is really good. Draw a card? 1-mana 2/1, draw a card. Now, this is insane. Okay, this is actually insane. We have the Spellstone for Warlocks now. It's called Lesser Amethyst Spellstone. 4 mana, it has lifesteal. It deals 3 damage to a minion. And then if you take damage from any of your cards, so it doesn't count your life tap, that's very important, right? Take damage from your cards. So if a card deals damage to yourself, such as like Hellfire or you know, Pit Lord, Dread Infernal, Abyssal Enforcer, or even the new Kobold Librarian, then you can upgrade this to the second version, which is deal 5 damage, and then the third version is deal 7 damage. It doesn't say here, but that's basically the 3 modes, right? So 4 mana to deal 7 and gain 7 is like a super holy fire, right? But I feel like this is still not that good, because 4 mana deal damage to a minion is not exactly what you want to do. I think maybe the Highlander Warlock, or even a Control Warlock, Control Demon Warlock might play this, because it's really expensive. I don't think you want to run 2. This also doesn't go face. I mean, the second version is pretty good. The second version of Holy Fire, deal 5 and gain 5, is pretty good. The first version is really bad. I don't think it's that good. I think maybe just 1 is fine. I think 2 is a little bit too heavy. At least my first impression. Well, if there are more cards that deal damage to yourself, then this becomes pretty good. And oh my god! Vulgar Homunculus is a 2 mana 2/4 taunt. That's really good. Has Battlecry, deal 2 damage to your hero. Well, okay, so there's a new card that lets you take damage now that will be found in control decks, right? 2 mana 2/4 taunt is really good. And who cares if you take 2 damage, right? You're playing an overstated minion. So yeah, I think this card will be found in both Zoo and Warlock. I think all Warlock decks will just play this. This is actually ridiculous. 2 mana 2/4 taunt. So you're playing a 3 mana minion, right? For the cost of just 2 health. So it's kind of like you get a free Innervate. There's also a demon tag for this, so it's even actually more insane. Imagine if you're playing the Gul'dan Death Knight, you can actually get 2 taunters back. That's actually crazy, right? Blood Reaver Gul'dan resurrects 2 mana 2/4 taunts, and you get your 2 Dreadlords, and you get your other demons. Wow, this card is actually insane. Yeah, I think this card is really good. I think this is like 5 out of 5 if I have to rate it a star level. This is really strong. This also makes the Amethyst Spellstone a little bit better for your control and mid-range or your demon synergy decks. So I like this whole package. Alright, onwards to a legendary Geosculptor Yip. 8 mana 4/8. At the end of the turn, summon a random minion with cost equal to your armor, and you get a maximum of 10. So you can get a 10 drop. This reminds me of Confessor Paletrus, where basically every turn it lives, you get to get a new minion, right? The trade-off is that it's a bigger body, right? It's 8 mana 4/8, it's pretty big, and it also requires you to have some sort of armor. If you're against aggro, this is pretty bad. But this also seems like a control powerhouse, right? Like, imagine if you're playing against like anything control, right? And then you have some random armor floating around. This summons a minion every single turn. That's actually very, very nutsos. It doesn't put it in your hand, right? It's not like something like Kobold Trafficker, where you draw a demon to your hand. This one puts it into play. That's really good. And you can get a 10 drop. You can even get like an 8 drop or something. Like, man, this card is like, it feels really, really powerful. And Control Warrior does need a few more. Like Blood Razor for warriors in the Frozen in the Frozen Throne expansion was really, really good. But then Frozen Throne didn't really give a payoff to be a Control Warrior. Like, why would you want to play Control Warrior when you can play Control Priest, right? Geosculptor might actually, you know, lure you into playing more of a Control Warrior, because this card is really, really powerful. And then you still have your Warrior Death Knight, which is kind of weird because you don't get to gain armor anymore. But there's a lot of armor cards anyways. So I think this card will see play in Control Warriors if Control Warriors is going to be a thing. There's going to be a lot of good control decks because there's so many legendary weapons that are released. So I don't even think Control Warrior is going to be a thing. But if it is, then this is going to be a thing, right? Alright, next we have Skull of the Man'ari. 5 mana 0/3 Warlock legendary weapon. It says at the start of your turn, summon a demon from your hand. Okay, so at the start of your turn. So when you play this, it doesn't do anything. And then when it's your next turn, at the start, you get to summon something, right? I see a lot of people saying that this is bad. Like, a lot of people saying this is, oh my god, it's a weapon for the museum or whatever, right? And, you know, some people even compare this to, at the start of your turn, gain $1 million, and then it wouldn't matter, and you still wouldn't play it because your opponent's just gonna remove the weapon. I don't agree with that. I feel like that this card is actually fine, because it enables a strategy where your opponent doesn't deal with it, you just run it off with the game. And you can actually get Doomguard from this. Like, that's pretty big. Like, getting Doomguard means that you summon a 5/7 charge at the start of your turn, and then you still get to summon more demons. So I think in a dedicated demon deck, you would still play this. Like, this is very, very powerful. Yeah. And think of it this way, right? Like, if there's enough Zoo decks or Warlock decks that do not play this weapon, then what is your opponent gonna do when they actually include acidic swap boosts and stuff like that? They're just gonna play on 2 and 3. They're just gonna play as normal minions, right? So I think the chance of this failing is there. I mean, obviously there are cards to remove weapons, but I still think this is good. I still think this is a very strong effect, especially when you're tapping a lot. And there's also Void Lord, right? There's a new Void Lord card. It's a 9 mana 3/9 taunt that when it dies summons 3 Void Walkers. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a player. This is a good card. I think people are just, you know, over exaggerating the weapon removal meta. Alright, next card we have Unstable Evolution from Shamans. It's a 1 mana spell that reads, transform a friendly minion into a 1 that costs 1 more. So you basically evolve a single friendly minion, right? But then it's repeatable this turn. So basically what it says is that when you cast this, you get it back to your hand unlimited amount of times until you end your turn. And when you end your turn, it goes away, right? Oh my god, there are so many ways to abuse this card, okay? Alright, so let's think of it as, you know, unstable summoning, or what is it called? Forbidden shaping, whatever. The priest card that puts in a random minion to play. This is actually better. This is actually better. So what you can do in turn 10, if you just have this card, you can make a totem for 2 mana, and you can play this up to an 8 mana. So you can just stop whenever you get a good minion. Say you get a 4 mana 7/7, right? You can just stop. You can just stop. You don't need to play any more cards. You don't need to change your 4 mana 7/7. Another thing you can do is you can change your totem into a blue guild warrior, go face. Change to a wolf rider, go face. Change to a Stormwind Knight, go face. Change it to a Leroy, go face. So this is just an OTK card, you know? Like, how crazy is that? So you can actually weave stuff in between. Say you have, like, you know, like a Direwolf Alpha or something, right? You can actually change the Direwolf, attack with minions, and then change the Direwolf Alpha to something else. This is really insane. That's why this card is an easy YOLO pick in Arena. This is like 10 out of 10 in Arena. Utterly bonkers, okay? Bonkers. Now, because it's repeatable, what does that mean? Well, there are some cards that let you do something crazy whenever you play a card or cast a card, okay? You know, there are some tame ones like Arcane Anomaly and Questing Adventurer. But what about Garrison Auctioneer, dude? Like, imagine if you have Garrison Auctioneer and then you play and you have this. So it's 1 mana, draw as many cards as you freaking want while still doing a relevant effect. Okay, this card is actually just bonkers. Okay, it's bonkers. There's so many synergistic cards of this, and by itself, it's all already good, right? That's the cards you like, right? There are some cards that require something else. Like, for example, the easiest example is Menagerie Warden, okay? Menagerie Warden is a card that's only good if you have a specific beast, and it's shit if you don't have one. This is good if you don't have anything. So I think this is one of the better cards of the expansion. Man, there's so many powerful cards in this expansion. I'm pretty hyped on this expansion, actually. Alright. Next card we have Leyline Manipulator. It's a 4 mana 4/5 elemental yeti that costs money. So power creep, yay. Battle Cry. If you're holding any cards that didn't start in your deck, reduce the cost by 2. So first of all, rip Yeti. I remember the good old days when people played Innervate Yeti in Druid, and that was considered to be really good, but yep, that's not a thing anymore. But okay, so what does this card mean? Okay, so first of all, it's a 4 mana 4/5 elemental. So it's really good already because it has all those elemental synergies still in the game. You know, your blaze colors, your brothers, heed my call, you know. Lots of those things. But guess what? This is an extra effect. It has a kind of like a what's that rogue card called? Ethereal Peddler, right? It's kind of like Ethereal Peddler, but it works on cards that didn't start in your deck. That's actually better than Ethereal Peddler because it works on all the cards that are not in Mage. It also works on some neutral cards that you randomly get. I don't know, maybe you get it from like a Death Rattle card that draws you a random neutral card. And most importantly, it works on the spells that you discover as mage, okay? There's a lot of cards that give you extra mage cards. Primordial Glyph. There's also the Kabbalah's Tome. There's also a lot of those weird minions that give you some random stuff, like Paveling Book, like the 2/1 elemental, 2 mana 2/1 elemental that when it dies, it gives you a random mage spell. There's also the new mage spellstone that gets you a lot of spells. So man, when you play a 4 mana 4/5, it's already pretty happy, okay? That's a lot of tempo. And on top of that, you get an elemental tag, and on top of that, you get to draw 3 innervates. Oh, sorry. Innervate is 1 mana, right? You get to draw 2 innervates per card that didn't start in your hand. That is over the top. That's actually stupid. So I think this is also going to be insane. Like, it also works on the Flame Geyser you get from Steam Surger. And you actually turn Steam Surger's Geyser into 0 mana too. I don't know. This card is like really statted a lot. There's just a lot of power in this card. So yeah, another mage card. That's also good in arena, weirdly enough, you know? Huh, weird. Mage is getting good arena cards. Next card we have Evasion. It's a rogue secret, the 3rd one. It has the secret tag, of course. It works on your opponent's turn, and after your hero takes damage, you get an ice block. So instead of ice block preventing the damage, you have to eat the damage first and then you ice block. So I just can't see how this is not broken. Because if you give ice block to rogues, and okay, so basically here's what this reads, right? This literally reads 2 mana, pay 4 life or something like that. Pay a number of life. You don't really know, and then you get ice block, right? This is like pretty good. Imagine if you're playing like, you know, an OTK rogue, like with the Leroy Shadow Steps, the ones that are just like out there. That deck would want ice block. Yeah, that would be great. And imagine if you're playing like Malagos rogue, right? You put down Malagos, you Sinister Strike. Preparation is still in the game. Eviscerate, you know, this is a fine card. And you don't have to wait till you're dead to play this. You just play the first copy anytime you want, you know? Oh, wait. Oh, wait, you can't do that. Oh, okay. Actually, you can't do that. That's interesting. You can't just establish secret whenever you want, because if you play this early game, they can just hit you and then it's gone. Okay, so it's not as good as Ice Block because they can trigger it early game. Okay, this is a little bit harder to trigger. Oh, this is actually a little bit harder to trigger, and I don't actually like it that much now. Yeah, I'm not really a super big fan of this now. That, you know, your opponent can just trigger early game and you can't just throw it down. Like, you can't just throw down a face down. Alright, so this I don't think it's too insane. Maybe people will test this, but now I don't really like it. Okay. Next card. We have... actually, let me drink some tea first. Shogun, thanks for the sub. And Darko Dare, thanks for the 4 months as well. Spooky, thanks for the $5. Skull of Bad RNG Kappa. Oh yeah, this is a spooky skull, dude. Alright, next card we have Furbolg Mossbinder. 5 mana 1/1, which transforms a friendly minion into a 6/6 elemental. So basically, Blizzard went like, hey, you thought we're done with 4 mana 7/7? How about a 5 mana 7/7, right? So this is a 5 mana 1/1 that transforms a friendly minion into a 6/6 elemental. Do note that this is neutral, so it's not a shaman card. At first I thought it was a shaman card. I was like, oh yeah, it's really good. You can use it on totems. But you can actually use it on anything, right? I think this card is actually pretty good in some decks, right? Like, imagine if you play Priest, and then you play like Potion of Madness, and then after you attack with their minion, you transform it. Like, that's pretty good. You can also do that with Shadow Madness and stuff like that. Yeah, that's like fine. And of course, if you use it on Shaman, it's pretty good. You can just like make it dude, make it 6/6. Use it on Paladin, you can also do that. That's fine. So yeah, I think this is relevant in Arena. Like, really, really good in Arena, actually. In Constructed, this is gonna be a little bit difficult. Because the 6/6 doesn't really have any tags. And even if you play this, you don't really like, the thing is, you need a minion to play this, right? And if you use this on 3/3, you're effectively playing a 5 mana 4/4, right? You're giving a minion +3/+3 and playing a 1/1. So the bigger your minions, the worse it gets. And isn't it in Constructed you want to play the minions as big as you want? So yeah, I feel like this is a little bit sketchy in Constructed. Even if you do, like, you know, the combos that I mentioned, it might be a little sketchy. I don't even think this is good with Evolve. Oh, although it is interesting that if you evolve a 4-drop, it might turn to this. Like, that could be kind of what phase. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna be too much of a player Constructed. Alright, next we have Unidentified Shield. So let's look here. Gotta... Alright, we need to get Unidentified Shield with this thing here. Alright. Unidentified Shield. Okay. I actually need to search this up because I don't know all the modes. Sounds kind of weird. Alright, next up we have Unidentified Shield for Warriors. The base is a 6 mana, gain 5 armor, right? When you draw this card, or when you get it, when you just get this card in your hand, it gains a bonus effect. The bonus effect becomes one of these things. So it either turns into a Tower Shield. So 6 mana, gain 15 armor, which is ridiculous. 6 mana, gain 15. Man, face this is just gonna cry when you gain 15 freaking armor, right? We have Serrated Shield, which becomes pretty much a Holy Fire, but a better version. Because instead of restoring health, you gain armor. So that's just strictly better. You could also get Rune Shield. 6 mana, 5 armor, summon a 5/5. So exactly like Shield Maiden. Or you can get a Spike Shield. 6 mana, gain 5 armor, and equip a 5/2. 5/2 is kind of like Arcana Reaper, right? So there's these 4 choices. In Arena, I think you just auto pick this, and hopefully you don't get the Tower Shield, because obviously gaining pure armor in Arena is just stupid. Like, it doesn't really do anything. In Constructed, the RNG element is pretty big for this, right? Like, the weapon is really good, right? But the deal damage is really bad. The gain armor you might even want sometimes. And the 5/5 is like whatever. This is like moderate, right? Like, the Shield Maiden is always just gonna be fine. So once again, if Control Warriors is gonna make a comeback, then this card is probably gonna get played. I mean, 50 armor is a lot for constructed. Like, it's a lot. People need to get through 15 armor. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of armor. So, yeah, I think this is gonna be... Wow, if there is a Control Warrior deck, Control Warriors have a lot of ways to actually cheat Fatigue, right? They have Dead Man's Hand right now, which is like, a card that everybody thought that was useless, but if you run 2, then you can just infinitely recycle your deck, which is actually legit. Okay, I don't think we can count this card out yet. There's a lot of new warrior cards that are very controlling, so yeah, this might be a thing. Alright. Combos of the new AoE. Yeah, we're gonna talk the AoE when it comes out. Alright, next card we have Deck of Wonders. Did you guys want some RNG in Hearthstone? Because if you wanted it, here it is. Deck of Wonders is a 5 mana mage spell, which says 5 mana. Whoa, I said 5 mana already. Alright, which says shuffle 5 scrolls into your deck. When drawn, cast a random spell. So what scrolls are is when you draw it, it casts a random spell and you draw your next card. So it doesn't even cost the card, right? So technically speaking, this is a 5 mana 0/0 Yogg Saron that always casts 5 spells, but it's a delayed effect. It doesn't cast it immediately. So it's 5 mana, do nothing. And then when you go through your deck, you get some random stuff. It's kind of funny. It looks like a very memey card, but I think this is actually not that bad. Alright, do note that people check the info on this card out. It doesn't actually activate any of your spell cards, right? So it doesn't activate your every time you cast a spell, like Flame Waker. Okay, Flame Waker is not in Classic anymore. What activates on your spells? Like, it doesn't even activate like Questing Adventurer or Auctioneer or anything like that, right? It's just, you play a spell from the game and that's it. It just stops. It looks very memey because it can cast anything. It can cast anything from an ultimate lull, which is insane, to something that's really bad, like discard your hand, okay? Like something really bad. I think you can't count this card out. I think this card is actually not that bad. Like, even though it doesn't work on Quest Mage, because the cards don't actually count as quests, I think this is still fine. Because it gives you the sort of power level that your opponent can't play around, Like, I think this is secretly good. I don't think it's great. I think this is a good card. Like, good. Like, solid. Like, if you randomly get this, like, this is gonna show up in constructed decks. I'm telling you, will definitely show up. Why? Because there's a lot of spells in the game and a lot of minions in the game that make random mage spells, right? So you can't just shrug this off and go like, oh, I'm never gonna put this in the deck. I don't need to know how it plays. No, you're gonna see this in constructed a lot, right? Every time you play Babbling Book, you get Deck of Wonders. And I think you actually want to play this card when you get that, because there are so many spells that are good, that are better for you than your opponents, right? So all the secrets are strictly good for you, right? There's also all the draw cards, which are strictly good for you. Nourish, Sprints, Arcane Intellect, Mimic Pod. There's so many cards that are strictly good for you. There's also cards that only target your opponent's minions. Swipe, Deadly Shot, Assassinate, Betrayal. Like, these effects do not target your own minions, right? Mind Blast, for example. So yeah, I think this card is just gonna be great. Like, when you run out of stuff to do, and you, for example, maybe you're playing against a Control Priest, right? And you have a bunch of removal spells, then you can just slam this out and you're pretty happy. Like, it's gonna give you value. Like, everybody thinks this card is a joke, but I think this card is actually fine. And it's, once again, I think it's gonna see a lot of constructed play if Mage is good, because you're gonna get it from Babbling Book, and you're gonna get it from the 2 mana 2/1 Elemental. You're gonna get it from the Spellstone that mages get. It's a good card, okay? I wouldn't even be super surprised if people put it in their constructed deck. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put it in my mage constructed deck, and I'm gonna be rank 1, and then everybody is gonna go PogChamp, because they're gonna go like, wow, I thought that A, Deck of Wonders was bad, and B, Amaz was not that good in a constructed, and it turns out that those are both false statements. Next up, we have Reckless Fear Flurry. Okay, 3 mana warrior card, which is a play on Blade Flurry, of course. Spend all your armor, so you basically lose all your armor, yeah? Deal that much damage to all minions. Wow, another control warrior card. Well, now we know why the identify shield is in the game now, because it actually gives you armor to do AoE. This is actually really powerful because, well, if you want to deal with the board, who cares if you need armor anymore, right? Sure, you do lose all your armor, so it's a little bit bad that you're actually smoking your own face. But the fact that you can actually remove boards of up to an insane amount, like, for example, if you AoE the board for 8, I'm pretty sure everything dies, okay? Like, 8 is a lot. And it's not a big ask for warriors to get up to 8 armor with all these new cards, right? So I think Reckless Flirt will be a thing. And the worst case situation is like a Holy Nova, right? It's like a small Holy Nova. You hero power and they play this and deals 2 to everything. But if you're playing a dedicated deck that gets a lot of armor randomly, then I think this is pretty good. And oh my god, what's this card? Dry Whisker Armorer is a 2 mana 2/2 that says for each enemy minion, gain 2 armor. Wow. For each enemy minion, gain 2 armor. Imagine if your opponent is playing Zoo, and then you play this 2 mana 2/2, gain 14. Wow, that is gonna break some bones because, oh my god, warriors are getting so many armor cards, and they're getting so many control cards. Dude, I think Control Warrior is gonna make a comeback. There's so many good Control Warrior cards now, and of course, whenever aggro is the meta, people always complain and go like, oh my god, it's aggro meta. Why can't I play a game that lasts more than 5 minutes? Man, I wish there was much more thought process behind Hearthstone instead of like, you know, just going phase. But now if control decks get too good, people are gonna complain again and go like, Resident Sleeper, every game is 20 minutes. I can't even, you know, sit on my toilet seat and finish a game of Hearthstone anymore, and it's so pay to win, you know? Like, god damn it. But anyways, my point is, this card is actually not bad, and I think Control Warriors will play this. It seems like a better Armorsmith, in a sense, because Armorsmith, while it works in control matchups you don't need armor. So yeah, I think this is just good. Elven Minstrel is a 4 mana 3/2 rogue minion. 4 mana 3/2, okay? Combo. Draw 2 minions from your deck. Alright, what's the sound I'm hearing from the from behind everybody's screen? Oh yeah, it's the sound of vomit, because this card is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? It's a 4 mana 3/2 that draws 2 cards. Okay? Like, what? Did they not learn their lesson of Ancient of Lore? Oh yeah. Oh, we have to nerf Ancient of Lore because it was a 7 mana 5/5 that draws 2 cards. It was not very interactive. And, you know, it provided a big swing that opponents can't come back from. Oh, let's go ahead and print a 4 mana 3/2 that freaking draws 2 cards from your deck, you know? Oh my god, like, and then people go like, oh, well, Amaz, it's combo. It's not a battle card. It's very hard to make this. It's rogue! Okay? Backstab is a 0 mana card, and not to mention all these preparations, shenanigans you can do. And rogues already don't play a lot of minions. So the fact that you're drawing 2 minions from a deck that doesn't have a lot of minions means that you're going to draw the best minions. Right? You're going to get your SIs, you're going to get your Auctioneers, you're going to get your Swashbucklers and Hucksters. You're going to get, if you're playing the, you know, the Temple Rogue, you're going to get your Scalebanes and Bone Mares, and oh my god, this is just a disgusting card, okay? Don't even mention that pirates are still a thing, okay? Patches is still in the game, which means that any rogues that play 2 Swashbucklers and 2 Hahas can play this at 5, right? You just play one of the 1 mana pirates and then play this. Oh, and suddenly you just did a 5 mana 1/1/3/2 draw 2 cards and did whatever the 1 mana pirate did, you know? Like, this is just ridiculous. This is actually a ridiculous card. Let's just go with that. Ridiculous. Alright, the Druid Legendary. Ixlid Fungal Lord. 5 mana 2/4 Elemental. Okay, it's kind of weird that this is Ellen Elemental and Ball Creeper isn't one. But it says, after you play a minion, summon a copy of it. Okay, so you get unlimited Faceless Manipulators until this dies. This is really good. Like, this is really good. Right? Like, your opponent, when you play this, your opponent kind of has to kill it. And imagine if you play it with, like, Twig of the World Tree, dude. Like, I can see some bonkers stupid things happening. What's a good minion that you want another copy of? Like, really anything, right? It also summons a copy of it. So maybe the Ellie Giggle Druid Quest can be played, because the Druid Quest you need to summon a lot of 5 attack minions. I don't even know if that's the thing. But I feel like this is a good card. Like, sure, it's a play a minion. So for example, if you do something like Serenade Chain Gang, okay? Like if you play Ixalan and you play Serenade Chain Gang, you only get 3 in total, because it only works on play a minion. It doesn't work on summon, because if it works on summon, then it infinitely loops itself, obviously, right? And that's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I can see this being really good. Like, what if you play this and then you make a combo druid deck? Say you play Ixalan, okay? And then you Faceless Manipulator Ixalan, which means that you get another Ixalan. So you get 3 Ixalans. And then you play Leroy. And then you get 4 Leroys. You know? I feel like that's not even the best combo. I don't even know. There has to be some broken ass combo they can play with this card. Because, like, summon a duplicate is really, really good. It's really good. I feel like this is gonna be a thing, but I don't exactly know what you're supposed to copy. This effect is really strong. So, yeah. I just have to say that you guys have to keep an eye on this one. Possessed Lackey is a Warlock card, 5 mana, 2/2, so that's pretty damn small. Death Rattle, recruit a demon. So you pull a demon out of your deck and put it onto play. I feel like demon decks are good enough that they don't need to play this. But at the end of the day, when you play Demon Lock, you really want to pull out all your demons ASAP, right? The good thing about this is that, you know, if you use it on cards like, you know, Doomguard, you don't get the Battle Cry, which is good. But a 5 mana 2/2 is pretty small. I feel like, you know, at first I feel like if I just saw this card, if this card was just introduced into this expansion, I don't think it's gonna be good. But the fact that Void Lord is gonna be in the same set as this card makes me think that this card might actually see play. Cause like, if it's 5 mana summon a Void Lord, this is like pretty ridiculous. And of course, demon decks are gonna play 2 Doom Guards, right? So I think this might see play. I don't. It's like borderline, because Void Lord is a thing, but I still. I'm gonna go with bad to maybe good. Like, even if you play a demon deck, you don't need to play this effect, right? I don't think you need to play this. You might as well just play an AOE or another minion that's 5, that's maybe stabilizes the board or something. So yeah, maybe not, but yeah, maybe yeah. Okay, maybe I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go with no. Valinir is the card that everybody's paw champing about. 6 mana 4/2 Paladin legendary weapon that says Death Rattle. So when the weapon, when you use up your weapon, give a minion in your hand +4/+2. So then your minion gets to equip this weapon, technically speaking, right? And then when that minion dies, you get to re-equip Valinir immediately. Immediately. Guys, sorry, did I mention immediately? They could have made this card put it back into your hand, but no, you get to re-equip this immediately. So the first Valinir is 6 mana, the second one is 0 mana, and the third one is 0 mana. Not to mention you're already giving your minion in your hand +4/+2. Okay, that is just ridiculous, okay? So you auto-pick this in Arena and you watch your opponent cry, because there's no way they can win. Imagine if this puts, if this goes on the Doppelgangster, okay? Then suddenly, you have 3 Doppelgangsters that are all 6/4, and when they die, they each re-equip a Valinir? No, that's not fair. Okay, that is not fair. There can be some stupid things you can do with this deck, dude. You can silence the minion, of course, and then they lose it on the weapon. But silence is not even a thing. Like, silence is not found in any of the new cards anyways, and silence is so rare that, oh my god, I think this is insane, man. This is actually pretty insane. Like, the power level of this is so high. Usually you don't want these effects, right? That buff your minions or whatever. But I think this is actually going to see constructed play. Because if Bone Mare is good enough, then this is a better Bone Mare, right? It's a weapon. It just repeats itself. So I think this is insane. It's just a 6 mana investment for unlimited value. Yeah, this is really good. Alright, next we have 3 different versions of the Spellstone. So all the Spellstones have been revealed. The first one is Alright, Ed, you better edit this well because that was a very awkward pause. Lesser Emerald Spellstone! Alright, it's a hunter card that is 5 mana. It's a spell. You can summon 2 3/3 wolves for the first mode. So 5 mana 6/6. That's actually really good. So if the base card is already really good and the upgrades are just gravy on top, you will always play an arena. So this is like auto pick an arena. Let's just throw that out of the way. Okay, so let's look at constructed, right? What do you need to do to upgrade this? You have to play a secret to upgrade this. That is the weirdest upgrade pattern ever, okay? So you need to play secrets, which are very anti-tempo, to make a tempo card better. So it doesn't really make sense, right? And the upgraded versions, you just get 1 extra wolf every single time, right? So it's 3 wolves for the second one and 4 wolves for the second one. The problem of these wolves is that they don't gain any stats, right? That's actually a big problem. It dies to everything. It dies to Hellfire. It dies to the new Dragon Dustbreaker. And it's a 3/3, so it doesn't even trade upwards, right? So I feel like that this card is actually not that good. Like, of course, wolves are beasts, okay? Like, we live in a world where wolves are beasts, so there is some beast synergy, but you can't even buff it when it's in your hand. So I feel like that this is not that good. Yeah, I feel like this is not that good. The only way I can see this being played is if you play Tundra Rhino with this. So then it's 5 mana, deal 12 damage. Like, that can be kind of cute. It also is pretty good combo if you play Call of the Wild, because the layout buffs all the wolves. So maybe some kind of OTK wolf on Tundra deck or something. Like Tundra Rhino plus the last version is 14 damage. Like, that's pretty relevant. But yeah, other than that, I don't think Tempo Hunter wants this. Oh shit, I closed off the freaking tab. Damn it! I don't want it to close that tab. Alright, saved. Saved. I opened it back. Alright, the next one we have is Lesser. Okay, let's do that again. Oops. Okay, so the next spellstone we have is the Rogue Spellstone. It's the Onyx Spellstone, yeah? 5 mana, you get to destroy 1 random enemy minion, so it's a deadly shot. And then you can destroy 2, and then 3. It's very important to note that there is up to in the second and third modes, so you can actually play it even if your opponent only has 1 minion on the board. And so you can still play the modes. So at least it's not like a Dark Bargain, right? Dark Bargain, you can only play it when there are exactly 2 or more enemy minions, right? So that's important to know, I guess. So how do we upgrade this card? You have to upgrade this by playing Death Rattle cards. Now, that's actually kind of interesting because Death Rattle Rogue has long been the worst version of the Rogue because Rogue can do some very unfair stuff. And Death Rattle Death Rattle Rogue is very fair, right? It plays kind of like a priest, where you're playing Death Rattles and you hope your opponent gets run aground by, just too much value, because Death Rattle cards are value. So then this is another good value card for Death Rattle Rogues that kind of makes a weakness in Rogue a little bit better, right? Like Death Rattle Rogues, the problem with it is that it doesn't have a lot of interaction, right? Like usually Death Rattle Rogues just play the Death Rattle creatures and hope somehow the trades work out, somehow your opponent can't deal with all of them and just outvalue your opponent, right? This you can actually interact with your opponent and destroy their board. So I think this is like pretty good. I mean, the second version is already really good. Like destroy 2 random enemy minions is already very, very good. And the third one is actually just bonkers, right? So I think this would kind of see play in Death Rattle Rogue, but then Death Rattle Rogue doesn't see play. So I think this is just not that good. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be that good. I think Sonya Rogue is gonna be the new thing. It's also interesting to note that if you play Sonya and you have Death Rattles, then you can just activate the next mode very, very quickly, right? Man, 3 is still a lot. Yeah, I feel like this is not that good. 3 Death Rattle cards is still a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, oh, don't close. Yeah, and say no. Yeah. And finally, we have a priest one. Okay, so there is actually a typo or a raritio in that this is not epic. This is actually just a rare card, which is important in Arena, I guess. So 7 mana, Diamond Spellstone, resurrect 2 minions, basically, right? So because we already know that resurrect is random anyways. How do you upgrade this? You have to cast 4 spells to upgrade this. Well, 4 spells is a lot for even priests. We have a lot of cantrips for priests, such as Power Shield and you know, Thought Steals effects and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of spells effects that cantrip. But to do the last mode, you have to cast 8 spells, which I feel like it's never gonna happen. Like in the normal game of Hearthstone, you're not gonna have this in your hand and cast 8 spells, right? Because you can't just cast 8 spells and then it's already in the last mode. You have to actually have this in your hand, right? So I feel like the best mode to evaluate this card is the middle mode, which is 7 mana, resurrect 3 different minions. We already know how powerful that is because of the Kazakus Potion, right? Kazakus Potion, there is a mode that resurrects 3. And then there's another way you can play this card is you can play it in Big Priest. So you can play it with Barnes or something like that. And then if Barnes pulls up Ysera and it dies, and then you play Lesser Diamond Spellstone immediately, then you get Barnes and a Ysera back, right? That's like the only target, and that's pretty good. Like, so the first version is already very, very good. But it is 7 mana, so you can't do it like immediately on turn 5. So I think overall this card is a lot of value, and I think it's pretty powerful in that, you know, resurrecting big creatures is exactly what priests want to do. But I think this is not going to be too insane. 7 mana is very prohibitive, right? Especially on the later mana cost. Like 5 is not that much, 6 is a lot, and 7 is like really, really a lot. Because you can't like actually weave cards, right? Like even if you're like in turn 10, it's easier to play a 5 mana card than a 7 mana card. Because 7 mana card usually, if you play 7 mana card priest, you're usually just gonna hero power afterwards. But what are you gonna do with 3 mana, right? There's just nothing you can do. So I think this is a little bit sketchy. I don't think it's gonna be that good, but I think it's a powerful effect. Oh, in Arena, it's YOLO Slam Jam, okay? Like, I cannot see how 7 mana Resurrect 2 is bad. The first version is already insane in Arena. And, oh yeah, it's Arena, so you're never gonna really upgrade it to the final version, but redonkulous in Arena, yes? Alright. Next up, Twilight's Call. It's a priest card. 3 mana, summon 1/1 copies of 2 friendly Death Rattle minions that die this game. Wow, you can actually break a lot of things with this card. Man, the artwork for this card is really cool. So you get 3 1/1. You get 2 1/1s for the price of 3, so it's obviously a little bit more expensive. But you get to Death Rattle minions, and there are some Death Rattle minions that you really want to kill to come back this time around, right? There's a lot of cards that when it Death Rattles, you get a lot of you get some recruit triggers happening. Oh, it's interesting that this also works with the priest quest because it summons it, and the priest quest only asks you to summon Death Rattle creatures. There are a lot of interesting cards for this to work out. Like, if you get double eggs that make 5/5s, that's pretty good. Even if you get double moms, it's pretty good. You get double oracles, so you get to draw 2 more cards. I think this is interesting. Yeah, this is very interesting. In Arena, this is a bit sketchy, because if you pick it very early, and you don't get any Death Rattle cards, then, Ellie Giggle, you just play the 3 mana, do nothing. But, like, yeah, the high end is pretty good for this card too. You know, you have your Bone Drakes and your and your Obsidian Statues. Oh, do keep in mind that if your opponent is playing Marion the Fox, that you summon 2 treasures. Okay, that's pretty dance game, dude. Oh no, you don't want to give your opponent treasures. Alright, so Marion is the counter to this card. But I guess Death Rattle cards would kind of try this out. So yeah, that's something you can try out, I guess. Okay, interesting. Alright, next card we have Dragon Caller Alana. I haven't seen this card before. 9 mana Mage Legendary, 3/3. Okay, that's pretty shitty. Battlecry. Summon a 5/5 dragon for each spell you cast this game that costs 5 or more. What? Dragon Master Outcast, dude. Oh my god, dude. This is insane. This is actually insane. Wait, it works off your Blizzard, and it works off your Flame Strike, and Fireline's Portal, and Cabal's Tome. Oh, this is really good. Holy Jesus. This card can just win the game by itself. I mean, by herself. Right? You flood the board for 5/5s. This is crazy. Man, Control Mage would definitely play this. It's like an Instacraft for Control Mage. Man, this is ridiculous. Wow. This is a YOLO Slam Jam and Arena as well, right? Man, this is ridiculous. And if there's even more 5-cost mana spells in Mage, then it gets even better. Man, this is insane. This is really good. Oh my god, Dragon's Fury! It's a 5 mana Mage card. Okay, what does it say? Reveal a spell from your deck. Deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. Oh my god. Mage is being even better in AoE now. Oh my god. Okay, so at least this kills all minions. So it's not just a Flame Strike. It's it deals damage to all minions. And it's a little bit RNG in the fact that, you know, if you're playing a deck full of Frostbolts and, you know, stuff like that, then it's really bad. But Fireball is fine. Like, say you only do Fireball and better for your Mage cards, right? It's a 5 mana deal 4 to everything at worst. Man, there's a lot of Mage control cards. And this also activates Dragon Caller Alana. So, man, I don't know, man. Mage is looking pretty good with all these nukes. Yeah, this is gonna be a player, I think. You just need to have a little bit of deck building challenge in that you don't play Frostbolts or stuff like that. You play minions. Like, dude, let's be honest, okay? If you're playing Mage, you can just play Babbling Book and the Elemental, the 2 mana Elemental that draws your Mage spell for your early game Mage spell cards. You don't need to play Frostbolt. You don't need to play Arcane Missiles. Right? You don't even need to play Arcane Intellect. Yeah, this card's good. Oh, that's it? What? That's it? Hello? Alright, that's it. Alright, cool.